No one else gives a shit.
I love that
we're
song.
live and they can hear you, so I'm not.
East LA.
Hey man, I'm ready.
Hey yo.
Ready to get this dub this weekend. Not the Washington kind.
I think a dub would be a loss.
All right, fellas.
Save it for the podcast.
Write it, Joel. Write it.
Cowboys cry too.
But enough about Jerry Jones.
Welcome to the Cowboys Uncovered. Hey, we're back. And hey, we got a Friday show for y'all, all right? So, strap in and get ready for the weekend. We just had a crazy snow game last night. And now we got a division rivalry for the Cowboys that we're turning our attention to versus the Washington Commanders against some division rivals in Dan Quinn and some other former players. So we'll get all into that. But how you fellas doing today?
I'm good.
Hey, it's Friday. It's Friday, man. Yeah.
Friday's
We're over what happened on Monday night. Of course, we were going to touch on that, and I think Alex has some visuals to help, bridge that gap here.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's looking rough.
Yeah. We are the new Browns. The Browns got a dub last night. Look way more exciting than us.
Dark times.
Dark times.
Interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
Fire Jerry.
That's pretty cool.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not possible.
You know what? Jerry's kind of giving off a vibe. He's almost like a what's that guy's name? The Crocodile King or the Gator King? What was the guy's name? Lion King?
Tiger King.
Tiger King. Jerry's like Tiger King right now. He probably will financially recover from this, but he's taking a hit on these ticket sales. Now they're all mostly sold already, but you can get into Cowboy Stadium on Thanksgiving Day for $50 American this year. That's wild.
Yeah.
All right, I think I might have paid $50 or $60 to sit in nosebleeds Cowboys Eagles on Christmas Day back in the McNabb.
You and I went, Dave. Remember Christmas Day? That's when the Eagles destroyed us. Jeff Garcia completely crushed us. Guess who sang the national anthem that day? Carrie Underwood. And she was dating Romo at the time, and I don't think Romo was not ready for this. No,
she's a sweetheart. All right.
Anyway, digress. The Cowboys lost this week, 34-10 to the Houston Texans, and we're not going to go too much into that. I'm sure you guys are up to speed on that. It wasn't very pretty. We did make it a game for the first 2.5 quarters or so. Then all of a sudden, there's a strip sack, fumble return touchdown, and the floodgates just opened. So that's about all I got to say about that game.
Yeah. Let me take it from there because yet again we had a bumble fumble from Cooper Rush on a snap. We had all kinds of miscues, and my prediction last week was that the Cowboys would galvanize enough to keep it close the entire game until the Texans took it over in the fourth quarter. That's kind of close to how this played out. I've been continually impressed with McCarthy's ability to at least get the troops to have a decent attitude on the field and get feisty and want to win, but they are so undermanned and they are undercoached. And, to wrap that up, I just want to give kudos to McCarthy. Hey, at least you got your guys to show up and play for not 60 minutes, maybe like 40 minutes. That's pretty good for a team that is in the gutter right now. It must be incredibly hard to get them jacked up for a game every week this last back half of the season. But his time is done. We need to get rid of him so we can start looking for another coach.
We're going to get into that eventually, Dave. Let's move past the Texans loss a little bit. Let's just talk about the NFC East, maybe as a whole, as we come on to the tail end of our division games, and the East is looking very much different at the moment today, as of a few hours ago, even than it did this time last year. So Cowboys and the Eagles last year battling for the division, right? While the Commanders and the Giants have been, like how they have been in the last half decade or so in the basement. Things this year, the Cowboys are 3-7, looking to avoid the first 6-game losing streak since 2015 when they finished 4-12. Meanwhile, the Commanders are 7-4, led by former defensive coordinator from the Dallas Cowboys, Dan Quinn. They're battling for not only the top of the division, but with the Eagles, but also the NFC as a whole, along with the Eagles for that NFC spot. Meanwhile, the Giants looking very different as well. As of a few hours ago, as I'm sure many of you already know, they released $100 man QB Daniel Jones, leaving behind nearly $70 million of dead money over the next 2 years, which is really kind of insane. Guys, before I go on with my little thing here, let me just get a reaction to that. When's the last time you saw a guy? I mean, maybe Brock Osweiler comes to mind.
No, that's crazy. Just getting rid of Daniel Jones like that. I know you're benching him and you're trying to tank, but he asked for his release, so it's, he wanted it, and I wonder who's going to pick him up. But that's a big sign that things are going pretty bad with the Giants, and they should not have paid him.
I doubt.
I think when you saw him practicing at safety yesterday, that the writing was on the wall at that point.
Yep,
that's embarrassing. I was just going to say that this is the new evolution of quarterback money, because in the past, a guy that was Daniel Jones-esque did not get a franchise quarterback deal. But you're seeing all these teams being forced into franchise QB deals by guys who haven't actually put a lot of skins on the wall. So we can all look at how much money Dak has made, how much money Kirk Cousins has made, have not had success in the postseason. But the guys who are really capitalizing on this, because in my opinion, Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott are both worth paying big extensions to in today's NFL. But you look at guys like Daniel Jones, you look at maybe Justin Herbert, maybe some other guys out there who are getting paid ridiculous money to extend their rookie contracts, and it should not play out this way. You should have to prove a little bit more. There's something wrong with how the contracts are being. The quarterback market is just ridiculous. I guess that's long story short. Quarterback market is ridiculous. You have to pay insane amounts of money to keep your rookie that you drafted, and God help you if you have to extend these guys without them actually proving anything. And Daniel Jones is number one. I think Justin Herbert is a fine QB, but he's already making big boy money, and it's very tough to see how this actually stays the case over the next 5-10 years. There's going to be some kind of change, I would think.
Yeah. No, even with that example, you saw the Chargers had to get rid of all their wide receivers because you can't pay Herbert and those guys. Not that it hasn't worked out well for them, but there's still a different class of quarterback as well, because your point is that you have to pay every quarterback this money. It doesn't matter if they're Joe Burrow or they're Daniel Jones. They all have to be paid this crazy amount of money, and it's just like there's got to be a cutoff. But these teams are too desperate to not have a quarterback and just be horrible.
Imagine knowing that you're going into the season with like $25 million of dead money just for next season, and then add the next year on top. I mean, gosh. Oh wow. Anyway, that's crazy.
It's not an isolated event. I guess the summary is it's not isolated. Like, every team is going through this, where you draft a guy. I mean, look at CJ Stroud. He's a great, talented young quarterback about to get $45 million a year. It's just all over the league. Every quarterback who's doing. And it's a factor of the formula of going with a rookie quarterback and trying to win the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback or a rookie contract quarterback. And the back end of that is you have put so much equity in that quarterback that you can't imagine doing that again. Where if the true philosophy is a rookie contract quarterback. You should not be paying these guys $40 million a year at the end of them. So
Yeah, I know at the
There's a
beginning of
difference
the
there.
show,
CJ Stroud made the Pro Bowl as a rookie, so there is a little bit of that. I mean,
Doesn't look
I
like a
know
Pro Bowler
maybe a
this
bad
year.
example. No, but
Doesn't look like a Pro Bowler this year, dude.
but what about like the fact that we were saying at the beginning of this podcast that we should have paid Dak earlier, sooner than we did?
Well, that's a lot of a lot of back. Like we should have done this, before training camp started, and really before all the other quarterbacks started getting signed.
We didn't have leverage to do it. Everyone could say sign him earlier, but Dak, the writing was on the wall. The Cowboys were going to be pressed up against it in this particular offseason. And if it was me and I'm doing my whatever job I have, and I know for a fact that my company cannot replace me, I'm going to stick it to them and make them pay me the max potential. You can say that all you want about paying him earlier, and it's a great narrative, and maybe they should have figured it out, but why would Dak do that?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
yep.
He was asking for more than he was going to sign to early anyway. So
anyway, it's been a wild.
Yeah, let's pivot to a shot of the week though, real quick.
Let me just get this out of the way before we do shot of the week. I just want to say, just bringing it back to the Commanders real fast. DQ, obviously it's sort of a revenge game for him, but joining DQ and the boys are Tyler Biotic, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, and then Noah Brown, who caught that badass Hail Mary a couple of weeks ago. He's been with them for the last couple of seasons, but still just saying. And while the Cowboys have won 5 of the last 6 meetings, Washington, much different squad. Obviously, Jayden Daniels is who he led with, and we, I think, as a group, expect sort of a different outcome. But that said, let's go on some positive notes here. Let's start with a note from the Hall of Fame. So, Ring of Honor member Darren Woodson, former safety, made it to the semifinalist for the 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yeah, let's do a combo shot of the week for Darren Woodson, and also Cooper Rush shout out. His birthday was yesterday. He turned 21. So duo shot of the week here.
Boom. Turned 21. Guys. That's always the
31.
Oh, 31. Okay.
21. I wish maybe you could do a little something else, but hey, cheers.
Yeah, Woodson, he'll make it.
I hope so. I think he's I should have worn my Woodson jersey. He was an incredibly dynamic safety, and unfortunately, in the years after him, there was probably the best safety of all time, Ed Reed. There was some Palomalu, some incredible. He wasn't those guys, but he was right beneath.
He was
them.
Not supposed to be those guys. He was supposed to be what he was at that era. You know what I'm talking about? The Charles Woodsons. Of the world, and like
John Lynch, they're
Daryl Greens and those guys.
Atwater.
I'm talking about
Steve Atwater.
Backs in general.
I'm a big safety guy. All right.
Ed Reed, though,
he was also an incredible leader. Led the team in tackles almost every year he was a starter. Played as a rookie in their Super Bowl campaign. Class act. Everybody wanted this guy in their team. I really hope he gets his due. I'm a little pessimistic on him getting there, but I think he absolutely deserves it. I really hope it plays out for him.
Just a quick Darren Woodson story. So it was the first day of training camp. So I was hired by the Dallas Cowboys to be an intern. First day of training camp, we get our, the IT staff, the internet staff set up in our little cold little cave back there in the Alamo Dome, because that time it was 2 weeks in San Antonio, 2 weeks in Oxnard, right? First guy that walks in to come and say what's up to like Nick Eatman, Rob Phillips, all those guys was Woody. And then it was like, hey, as soon as he walked in, hey, Woody. And so it's like, cheers. It's like everyone's like, we just went up and talked to him. He's like a super personal dude. He said what's up to me. Like he gave me a little bit of time, and like let me just say, like, that was a really cool moment. So shout out to Woody. Like, we love you, man.
This
We
guy
hope you
cares
get
a
in.
lot about the organization. Played his entire career there. I'll just give a little shout out. You mentioned Nick Eatman. I got my Nick Eatman with a
Hey.
forward from Darren
All right.
Woodson.
There you go.
Okay. And Eatman
yeah.
was nice enough to sign it for me. He's a really nice guy.
Maybe we'll tag Nick Eatman on this posting now. So he got some shout outs.
I mean, you have to appreciate when a player sticks his neck out as much as Woody did for the organization. He had a good run on ESPN and other sports broadcasting networks.
He was great too.
He's a guy that is doing that anymore. But his resume speaks for itself. The guy was a consummate all-pro, in my opinion. I'm not sure his accolades there, but made the Pro Bowl many seasons in a row. Great guy, great player. Miss him.
Yep. Anyway, I'm glad we got some positives in here today, fellas.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex, where do we go from here?
No, we're gonna end it on a good note. We're getting out of here, right?
It's done, baby. Let's go. 2025. See you at the draft,
It's
baby.
Friday. Let's go. See you at the bar, Dave.
I can't wait for the draft this year, man. Let's go.
Guys, we're gonna bring some heat for the draft. Don't worry.
I can't
we
wait.
got a
I'm
lot to go
excited
into
about
that.
the draft.
We have some special guests already backloaded that have agreed to come on for multiple shows. So it'll be a fun little draft season here.
All right, so let's get into. I'll start with just a quick. We were talking about legends and people that used to play the game. Well, this is someone who's about to used to play the game. His name is Zach Martin, and
we got to talk about this.
He's it looks like he's banged up for this and is doubtful for this next game on Sunday. I think it's probably going to be tough for Zach to play in this game. Unfortunately, he hurt his other ankle, according to Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan. This is going to be a tough one for him to make this week. So it doesn't sound long term. Honestly, I was joking. I think he'll have another year. It's just to what level. This is his worst graded season as a pro so far. And this isn't going to help his overall stats. So
I just feel like Zach ain't that type of dude to go out with this type of season. No,
I was joking. Even Tyron.
He doesn't play for the Browns where like Joe Thomas had to go out with one of those seasons because it's the Browns. It's the Cowboys. We're gonna come back and bounce back next season. We're gonna get a great draft pick. We're gonna get a good coach, and we're gonna have some momentum. I think that maybe he wants to be a part of that. Part of me hopes that he does. Maybe he works on the offseason with some different things that he hasn't done before just to get his body right. But guys, what do you think? What do you think, Dave?
I think it's tough for a guy like Zach Martin to get up for a season like we might encounter next year, where we lost a lot of players this year. We're losing just as many players next year to free agency. And, he's breaking down. And I don't say that.
Hopefully losing some coaches too.
Yeah. I don't say breaking down to say he's not capable of being a starter in the NFL. I just think if it were me and I had the track record, imagine having to put on the shoulder pads again for a team that is iffy and shaky, and I just feel so bad for a guy like this. This is the kind of guy that you wish we had found a trade partner for. Yeah, let him make a little run here, but it just doesn't happen with guards. And never.
You sound like
we did that. We did that with D. Ware back in the day, right? Like he went and got a ship, And
Tyron Smith, y'all were saying this about Tyron Smith. Like we should have traded him while he was not off the age cliff, like a year early, and we tried to go on this final run, and we got to get out ahead of that type of stuff.
You got to figure
maybe
Zach had a big
want that. He wants to retire.
Cowboy.
I
agree.
I'm good with that too.
And
let him ride out.
You want us to get a replacement for him to mentor, Yeah. And there's guys. Sure. I want to get into this here in a little bit, talking about some of the guys we have on the back lines that we could maybe, sign for the future. We have a few guys that are on the top of my mind that might be able to compete for a job that Zach Martin might leave vacant next year. It's just unfortunate. What a crazy stellar career, though. This guy is a Hall of Famer. We're going to see this guy in the Hall of Fame in Canton in 5 years with a bus. Hopefully not anywhere near Jerry Jones.
His birthday was last week.
God bless him, bless his family and everything coming up here on the holidays. I really hope he is able to play. If he's not, sit down, big man. You've done your
you've done your duty.
tour.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, what, 7 Pro Bowls? Doing all right.
4 or
No,
5
all pros,
at least.
all pros, sir. Yeah,
All
yeah.
pros.
Let's
All
get
pros.
that
Get it
straight.
right.
Yeah,
All right. So Micah Parsons, you know him.
he'll play. He'll play.
Yeah.
He was on the list though.
Would y'all
He's
make
just
it the
saying-
hubbub of his trash talk to, and the way he talked about was last week's clip the Mike McCarthy? Zach
Yeah,
Martin?
we ran that. We ran that back last week.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
see. He
it's a
apparently
much to do
apologized.
about. It's a much to do about
Yeah.
nothing at this point. They said that they met as men should, and we're gonna leave it at that. Like whatever.
What does that-
McCarthy
does that
is a
mean-
lame duck coach. He's gonna be out. We all know that. Mike is gonna be here, and
Yeah.
guess what? It's not gonna freaking matter in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
This was a decent quote, though. Cowboys will go head-to-head with one of their beloved former coaches on Sunday in the Commanders head coach, Dan Quinn. Guys like Micah Parsons appreciate how good a players coach Quinn was during and after his time as defensive coordinator in Dallas, including helping getting Parsons' family tickets for Sunday's game. That goes to show you what type of coach DQ is and type of player coach he is, Parsons said. Regardless of where you're at, whether you're playing for him and things like that, he's always about his guys, and that's my guy. It's going to be fun playing against him, and hopefully not for him. He's talking really friendly.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because Dan Quinn does have this reputation as being a player's coach. There are other coaches around the league that have reputations like that. Pete Carroll had that reputation. A lot of other guys have had that reputation. But let's be real. Dan Quinn had a phenomenal season. But what did Dan Quinn do poorly that led to his exit? Because we
Playoffs?
absolutely could have kept him if we wanted to keep him, right? Let's think about this. Who are the players on this team that Dan Quinn pounded the table for? One of them was a big, fat guy, that's being nice, from Michigan. Mozzie Smith was a Dan Quinn guy. There are
So you're saying he was wrong.
The small linebackers and hybrid safety plays are Dan Quinn ideas. So we have deficit in run defense because of Dan Quinn and his idea of having fast defense, which is great. It worked out great to get turnovers. But when push came to shove in the playoffs and in these big important games, what was failing us? The defense. We got absolutely gut crushed by the Packers. And who's in charge of the defense in that game? Who's in charge of creating the game plan? Who's in charge of figuring out what is going to work against the Packers in that game? Dan Quinn. And
Yeah.
that's all. That's really all I have to say.
Let me just chime in here. I get it. At the end, that's what happened. Let me just put a little bit of stuff into perspective here for the team and for those folks actually watching. So, 2021, Quinn's first season, the Cowboys averaged 251.9 passing yards over the first 10 games. Now, under Zimmer, they're giving up less, 214.7. Now, that's probably because they're running more. But I'm just saying, in 2021, it wasn't that great for Quinn as he started out, right? And Zimmer, we know he took off 2 years, then came back to the game. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of comparison stats. It's
I think it's
not all
incredibly
doom and
obvious.
gloom necessarily.
It's incredibly
Yeah.
obvious that Dan Quinn has a huge strength and a glaring weakness. So, the big game prep is the hardest part for Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn had a 28-3 lead, lost it to the Patriots, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. But you fast forward to the Cowboys season with him, and undeniably, with ferocious players like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, etc., absolutely failed the Cowboys in that playoff game, and you can't undersell it. They were destroyed in every sense of the word in that playoff game, and Dan Quinn was the guy in charge of it, and that's why he was not retained. He was a great candidate to be retained, and everybody thought he would be, but you cannot keep a guy who shit the bed that hard in that big of a spot. So good luck to the Commanders. I think they have an interesting team, interesting players. I just do not think they're gonna have the staying power that maybe their fans hope they do.
I think you're 100% accurate there, Dave. I'm not saying it's fool's gold, but they're very young, and it's still Dan Quinn.
Who doesn't like
And
Cowboys through line though? I like that.
We've seen Dan Quinn's defenses just like you said, shit the bed. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Probably won't do it against the Cowboys.
I think
Yeah,
CD's.
They will unshit the bed if that's the thing.
Pooper scooper.
All right. So CD Lamb looks like he was not practicing as of Thursday. I think he'll play. And look, guys,
He'll play.
The players are going to play. You just saw the Browns. Their team was 2-8 walking in the stadium, and they just played their hearts out. And after they won that game, they're acting like they just won the Super Bowl, right? Like teams are still out here playing and competing. So we're the players are not tanking. CD's going to be out there. He's trying to put up some more monster season numbers, and he's already paid. He's got to kind of prove what he's out there for. And yeah, I think he'll be all right. We got no Jake Ferguson in this game. I don't think since he's already confirmed he's not going to be on here.
Yes, Ferguson is out, but guess what? We might see a Bland sighting this week, fellas. Let's get hyped.
There we go.
We get a Bland Diggs for the first time, like for the fourth time ever, fifth time ever. Like
Bland,
what is
Diggs,
it,
and
Dave?
Lewis.
Season
only
I don't know about
times.
Lewis. I guess he wasn't on the
Fourth
sheet
time
today,
together.
right?
Yeah,
Lewis was out last week. Is he playing this week? I think he is.
Yeah, versus a rookie quarterback, he's going to be licking his chops.
I hope they don't actually do too well.
Guys. Don't steal my bold
Maybe go
predictions.
down before you score a pick six, because I'm not interested in actually winning this game.
Oof. I see where your mental
Browns
is,
should not
Dave.
have won. With that logo, Jamie, I can't tell if that's like a hint of Browns in that logo, but yeah, I don't know why.
Like a psychotic person, which I enjoy.
Hey,
Let's go, Jamie.
we love Jamie over here. All right,
Let's go.
Marshawn Leland looks like
What? Who else do we have to worry about over there?
Oh, so you want to check on the other team? All right, then let's.
Yeah. Well, we know Bland and Nealand actually might be coming back, so that's great. So
That's big.
let's turn our attention to.
So
that-
over
the
here with
team
the
that we're
Commanders,
playing.
Marshawn
Lattimore is out.
Big name ruled out. So
Yep.
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore is not going to play in the game. He's already out. So don't have
Confirmed.
to worry about him. And the
That's
Commanders
about
defense
that's about
has gotten
it, though.
better over time. But just like with the Cliff Kingsbury offenses with the Cardinals, the offense has been scoring fewer and fewer points each week, and the defense is not really there to pick up that slack. So it's not like this isn't a team that has weaknesses. And look, each week since Parsons got back, we're going to continue to get healthier. Like in a couple weeks, unless we shut them down, we'll be getting Tank Lawrence back. So the defense
Isn't Brandon Cooks coming back?
I don't know,
Cooks
but he
Cooks is questionable. He did practice on a small scale today. So he did do some individual drills and a couple of group drills.
Tyler Smith should be probably playing. I think he left the game last week. I heard he's probably playing.
Do we see any Trey Lance?
Name your source, David.
Brian Broaddus, ever heard of him?
Do we see any
that's
Trey
my
Lance
guy.
this week, fellas?
That's
My bold prediction last week was
they should be.
incorrect. I said Lance would be starting. He's not starting yet.
I mean, so why would you play Cooper Rush, right? So you play Cooper Rush, maybe you start Cooper Rush. When do you decide you're not playing Cooper Rush anymore?
After Thanksgiving, once you get your last win of the season,
Is
then
Jamie talking about the Kansas
Cooper Rush
City
is
Texans?
done, and then Trey just goes on our tank job for us. So that's has been my prediction for the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to stick to it. So
Hey,
Cooper
Joe,
Rush through November.
Answer Jamie's question. Is it not the Kansas City Texans?
It's the Dallas
Dallas-
Texans, and
Dallas Texans.
if you want to know the story about that, the Dallas Texans and the Dallas Cowboys played for the rights to see who would stay in Dallas. Guess
That's
what?
the ultimate
The
bet.
the Dallas Texans, now the Chiefs, lost that game. So when they wear their throwback uniforms, you see the star or the state of Texas
that
on their
red-
helmets.
yeah.
Texas logo.
And so yeah, so that was like Hank Stram, like that was Tex Stram. I mean, back in the day, against Hank, and it's like they decided to do that. Guess what? The Cowboys actually won that one.
Boom.
Indeed.
But you could maybe change your allegiance over, and like it would still be okay just on uniform switch day when they're wearing those
Appreciate that.
Cowboys
Trivia, Jamie.
throwbacks.
There was a lot of hubbub about the Kansas City Chiefs having 4 of the top 5 viewed games of the year, and does that make them America's team? Everybody wishes they were America's team, all right? You can't just take
That's
someone's nickname, all right? That's like how
Yeah. Just come up
how
with a new
poverty of
nickname.
a franchise are you to steal a nickname? Come on, man.
Also, we're talking about Kansas City. Kansas
Come
City.
on, man.
Their barbecue. They microwave their barbecue.
Ooh,
wow.
Their brisket, they microwave that shit. We know how to smoke that properly.
to-
We got
about
some
to
Michelin
cause a
stars
riot.
down here. Come down to Austin, Texas, and see what's up. Dallas, I bet they got the same thing. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry,
All right.
just had to go off on barbecue there for a second.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Biggs, my co-host.
I
Show
did
you
want
how
to
travel
mention
polls, ratings.
what while you guys were talking about your hot takes and what bold predictions and whatnot. I did get it correct. The Cowboys did not go 3 and out in their first possession. Instead, they got a nice first down, and then they proceeded to go 3 and out after that first down. So
They did.
just saying, I was correct on that.
You have to look at this team, and again, I give McCarthy a little credit for putting together, instilling a little confidence and a little feisty fieriness to this team. They played tough. They did not get pushed around without pushing back. But
We
they
saw
just
them
don't
fight the
have
Texans a
guys.
couple times. Yeah.
They just didn't have the guys. But I've watched teams, and we all have. We know what kind of manager, coach gets fired mid-season. Wade Phillips kind of guy.
I was there for that. And
And
I
that
happened to be
team-
working for them.
That team absolutely gave up on the coach. Okay, that's why he got fired. And Mike McCarthy is not going to get fired mid-season, even though that's what I wanted and what I thought might happen. But I don't think it's going to happen because these guys are going out there cracking skulls, banging heads, trying their guts, their balls off. They're just not there. The scheming isn't great, and the deficiency to injuries is too much for this team to overcome.
I mean, we were shit with Dak. You think we're going to be any better now?
And that's amazing that they're actually, in my opinion, trying and playing as hard as they are. And I know a lot of people have viewed these games and said they're not. Oh, they're just mailing this in. Like, look at the body language, look at the execution. When you look at the film at the end of the day, you look at somebody break it down for you, like Broadus or something like that. These guys are playing hard, and I gotta commend them for that. And out of that, you get some amazing performances. You got Turpin scoring a 63-yard touchdown.
See Overshone.
Overshone coming into his own as a Parsons-like rusher, at the linebacker position. There are guys that are showing up, and that I really appreciate that. I want to get into some snap talk. There's some guys I really want to see a lot more from. I don't know where we want to go from here, but some of the guys.
Yeah, that is exactly where I wanted to go. And
let's go.
I was looking for those images. I found them. So just preface it as I load them up.
Yeah, so we have we're going to look at who had snaps last week, and some of them were due to injury coming in, but a lot of them were due to the game getting out of hand and sending in the backup dogs and seeing what we could get out of guys like TJ Bass, out of guys like Brevin Span Ford and Schoonmaker split time. Flournoy got a bunch of snaps. And I thought he looked pretty good fighting for the ball on a couple passes. He wasn't put in the best situations, but if I were to count him down, I'd say guys that impressed me that got limited snaps, Awesome Richards, Brevin Spanford and Schoonmaker got some great play. I need to see
Where
more
does
from these guys.
Jonathan Mingo rank on your list here? I think he got like 2 targets.
It's unfair because he's so new to the squad and it's such a bad team.
It's a really bad throw by Cooper Rush. That the one
he
that
had
he actually
4
could have
targets. He had 4 targets, and you really expect him to haul in a couple of those. Deuce Vaughn got a couple looks. He played a bunch of snaps. So, from top to bottom here, a couple of these guys were put out of the game by it being out of hand. But I want Brevin Spanford. This guy's 6'7", like 240. I want this guy to be a contributor. Awesome Richards and TJ Bass might actually – there's a world where these 2 guys are starters next year. You look at Terrence Steele, you look at Guyton, they might switch spots. One of those might not even be on the team. You look at Zach Martin, he might not be on the team. You might have to play Awesome Richards and TJ Bass next year if you go for some of these flashy draft picks that we're all talking about. Deuce Vaughn got some looks. Brock Hoffman, I think, is worth getting some more looks. Don't care about Princeton Vaughn at all. He can stay at the bottom of the roster, but Flournoy, Brevin Spanford, Awesome Richards, and TJ Bass, these are all guys that could be not only on the 53, but starting next year. I expect 1 or 2 of those guys to be starters next year.
Man, that's the Luke and Brett, the Spanford, the tight end battle, man. Like,
I'm happy that they gave him a split.
Yeah,
Schoonmaker
I am
plays,
too.
But they're both worthy.
Spanford looked really good out there when he got. I think his catch after the run ability obviously might be a little better than Shoemaker, but maybe Luke has a little bit better hands. But I might have to pick up Spanford on waivers this week because
Yeah,
everyone
I
has
paid my Dynasty League. I paid $1 for my Dynasty League last week.
No, that's my Dynasty League.
But Florida had a couple plays where he was fighting for the ball. He's not a big body, but a bigger body than you've seen from like Jalen Tober's kind of a smaller guy.
He gives like a wider net, like a wider like net to catch. Like gives you like a good target.
I just think he could develop into a real guy. You know what I mean? Tolbert looks like a guy who could be a yak guy. I don't know exactly what his best role is, but I think Flournoy's ceiling is the number 1. To be honest.
Well, I think we're gonna have to get rid of one of those Jalen's next year.
So, hey, Dave, really, I think the whole thought behind this is like who are we keeping? Because it's still that that evaluation period going into next season, and like I ran a poll in our Cowboys chat. How many catches was Mingo gonna have? And we got all kinds.
And
I
said, how many touchdowns was he gonna have? Let's level this shit up, guys.
Guess what? He had 0.
Nothing came to fruition.
Mingo down here at the bottom, 4 targets though.
But we should level it down
catches.
to targets. Let's go targets next time.
Like, is this the evaluation? Because I already evaluated from the Carolina days that he wasn't good and we shouldn't have traded for him. But 4 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards, not used in the run game. We got to give him more time to learn the playbook. But I think it was just I'm a little biased because I didn't like it from the beginning, and then to see him be so. Let's just order this. Is that what? 6
Can you sort it by? By target. So 4 targets, 0 catches. I mean,
can't get any touchdowns without catches.
He threw to Schoonmaker 10 times. It's bizarre. To me,
because Fergie got
offense.
hurt really early on, right? So that's a little skewed.
We're just saying no one woke up thinking it was going to be 10 targets Schoonmaker day.
No, and
that's right. No one started Schoonmaker in their fantasy.
This is too early for us to really say anything about Mingo, and we got him for 2 more years, not just next year. So.
Oh, you shut your dirty mouth.
He's going to be around, boys. He's going to be a superstar in the preseason next year, maybe.
I like this. I mean, we had been begging for this just let us see what Turpin has, and we actually got it. 86
Okay,
yards.
great point, Alex, because I've been poo-pooing on Turpin's wide receiver ability this entire season.
You got to get him on the right route.
I think he's a gadget guy, right? Guess how many slants Turpin has run this year? And one of them was 63 yards for a touchdown. How many slants has he run?
Maybe two.
Two.
Yeah.
I remember the other one was
slants.
the other one was good for like a 30-yard catch or something too, right? Something like that.
I don't know, but the fact
It was a
of
first down
the
at
matter
least.
is they're not counting on this guy to run actual receiver routes. And when he does, you kind of got to hold your breath.
It's a home run or it's
not-
a bust.
It should not be crossing routes, which is what they had been doing the first half of the year. The fact that he has two, I mean, think about it. If me, you, Alex, if all three of us decided to draw up a play for Turpin, how many of us would draw deep crossing routes for him?
Oh man, no.
It would be a double move and back to the outside or to even the post at the very least. But you got to start outside.
A swing pass, a screen, a slant, a deep go, a double move, all before
he's not going to break any tackles, so he needs to be.
Yeah, I love like the like double crossers, like have him just go right in front of the quarterback, super easy target, just blazing across. He probably separates from whatever defender's on him through just the chaos. Don't throw it to him right there because he gets blown up, but catch him right as he's leaving, and he can
you
be
got
gone.
to get him in a slot where he's not facing a hard press. But yeah, Jamie's chiming in here about Flournoy. I think the guy's built to be a number one. He's not quite there yet, and he may not get there. But this is the kind of guy why you don't trade for a freaking Mingo, because you got a Flournoy right there.
Because you got a Flournoy right there,
dude. Like the Panthers got rid of Mingo because they found a guy just for free that was an undrafted free agent. Like these guys can be found, so it's like don't go spending fourth round capital and then go into the draft and looking around like, oh man, I wish I had a fourth round draft pick, because there's guys out there to be had. Jalen Coker is a guy I'm talking about from Carolina Panthers, like just undrafted free agent, looks good. And now they're plugging him in as the wide receiver 3 now that Thielen's back. Mingo's not even that for us. And that was.
Can we go back to the fire Jerry cap?
Oh man, brutal.
Because exactly what you're talking about, man. Jerry felt really proud of this. Oh, we signed a wide receiver. It's like, really? But you gave up a really good fourth round draft pick for this. We historically draft really well in the fourth round. And Mingo ain't going to be, an impactful player as another fourth rounder might have been. Yeah, but I digress. I think
we hadn't talked in a while. I look up. We have run a gamut on this time. We're over 40 minutes that we haven't really broken into this next week too much.
We did a little bit.
Real quick, anything else on the snaps though, Dave? I like the idea behind it, and we didn't really look at the
defense real quick.
Defense too much.
Okay, Chauncey Golston, I've seen enough. I want this guy back. I believe he has one more year. I'm not 100% sure. Josh Butler can go. Adigizio, we got to re-sign. Mozzie Smith sucks. Mukwamu is whatever. Maurice Luafau, good. Carl Lawson probably going to be let go. Same with Linval Joseph. Damn, this depth on this defense has been obliterated. If you look at these bottom 7 guys, these are not NFL players.
Man, look at that Wanye Thomas and the little impact he's made from playing 85%.
I like him in the preseason game, but not against real starters.
You want to be a preseason champ, or do you want to be a regular season champ?
It's the preseason games with Josh Butler and Mukwamu and Carlos Watkins. Carlos Watkins, we re-signed off the street after he got kicked off of some team for chasing some glory.
Same with Carl Lawson. Like he was, not to put him in that same boat. I think he was probably just cool chilling at home, but we did sign him off his couch. Is my point.
It's crazy how Kendricks is just. Just like Stephon Gilmore last year, a guy that we were able to get as a veteran that has really been able to do everything for us. You can see even here in the last week's stats, at the beginning of the season, he was leading tackles every week. He's still been like second almost every week in recent weeks. So,
I heard that Zimmer already offered him a
he's
role
not gonna be
next
on the
year if
team.
he comes back.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
I didn't think he was gonna make it back. Okay.
That doesn't mean he has a contract, but Zimmer said he has a spot again, the same spot if he comes back next year. If Zimmer's there, I don't. He's only on a 1 year deal too.
Let's move on. So you said the Dan Quinn Manders or the Washington Commanders, however you want to frame it. Let's kind of get into a little bit what we think is going to happen in that game.
All right, so let's get into it, man. But I think you sent in a pretty good quote, so we'll go ahead and start off with that from the coach himself. Let me pull this back and we'll see what Dan Quinn's got to say about this team.
Then we can't hang.
Yeah.
Okay? Mike McCarthy, you know very well.
Yes.
So does Joe Witt. What's a chess match like with guys that you know?
We
coaches because you work with them.
Yeah.
we have it on 2x speed here, trying to find the right spot. Boom.
We're only human, folks.
Yeah.
Then we can't hang.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike McCarthy, you know very well.
Yes.
So does Joe Witt.
Yep.
What's a chess match like with guys that you know better than other coaches because you work with them?
Yeah, and it happens around the league, guys that you keep up with, at different spots along the way. And Mike's like a phenomenal coach. I learned like so much from him in a lot of different ways, both on the field and off the field. So I know that you know that, and he has that same, thoughts about some of the things that we've done. So there is a chess match, but at the end, it's the guys executing and playing it out. And so that's a number one, top of the pile, our execution, the speed at which we play. And so that's a number one at the top.
So
Smart guy, smart coach.
Yeah.
Smart coach. All these guys are really smart. Mike McCarthy's smart. But to a certain degree, I guess.
I think when you put a guy like Dan Quinn in the middle of a bunch of upstart, like you're my guy, when he brought in guys, and gave him a lot of confidence bringing them in, guys like Dante Fowler, like you mentioned, and some of these other guys like
Armstrong.
A guy like Dan Quinn really boosts these guys' ability to execute, at least on a short play-by-play basis. Now, does
sure, more of a micro level, yeah.
Does it last over the whole season? We haven't seen it last over the whole season for him, short of losing the worst Super Bowl comeback of all time. The guy's a heck of it's an interesting style of defense he coaches, because getting turnovers is like the best thing you can do on a defense. And
but you have to have a good pass rusher and some great ball hawks in the back.
But and I'm just going to do this as a quick example, Joe. Who were the pass rushers on Atlanta Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl? They did have them. They did have a few.
Highwater or
Hightower.
Hightower.
I don't remember either. All right, that's the key. That's my point. Is that like this guy figured out how to coach turnovers, which is an insane thing to say about a coach. And
Bland, who we're getting back this week.
Yeah, so you're saying that as a
NFL
rookie,
record,
a rookie setting the record, you're saying it's not all the rookie, it's partly Dan Quinn, which that actually makes some sense.
There's a system in place, because you have to put the cornerback's eyes at the quarterback. That means they're playing zone. So like when you're playing man, you're not going to get as many interceptions. You're going to get more disruptions. Where if you play zone with blitzing up front, you're going to get the eyes on the quarterback in the back of the defense. And that's how Trayvon Diggs and Bland really were able to break on the ball. You can't break on the ball if you're playing man. So every time you saw, especially Bland, being able to make pick sixes, it's because his eyes are on the quarterback the whole time. He's able to break. You won't make a pick six without having your eyes on the quarterback and breaking. I mean, it would just be a miracle if you turned around and caught it and just started change your direction going the other way. So you got to give the scheme credit, but it does have holes. It's got big holes. And unless you turn those picks into points, you're not going anywhere, because then you get the double moves. Then you get the stuff that we saw over the seam, and you get the running game getting crushing you, like we saw with the Packers.
It's all,
interesting.
yeah.
It's a chess match.
Scheme and personnel.
It's almost
personnel.
rock paper scissors. It's like rock paper scissors. Like not any one thing is going to beat everybody.
There's no silver bullet in the NFL, unless you had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and that worked
And the
for
refs.
a really long time. And the refs, yeah. Hey, they must have gone to the same massage parlors as Kraft. But let's digress from here. What's next? Some score predictions, hot takes?
No.
What do you think?
we do one interview of the coach, and we can't talk about the potential rookie of the year that we're about to play against for Denver.
Who's that?
Oh, I thought you said Brandon.
Wow.
Brandon Aubrey. Oh, my bad.
No.
He's got his own thumbnail. We've got enough shine of Aubrey on.
We will say if there's a special teams unit of the year, it has to be the Dallas Cowboys.
All right,
I
don't
guess
even know what you guys
really
are saying right now.
All right, let's move on. Jayden Daniels. Is it Jayden or Jalen? I can't remember his name.
Oh gosh, dude! You best know him because you're gonna be seeing him for the next.
You're talking about having a special teams unit of the year. Who cares? We're on the worst
Dallas
team
Cowboys. Yeah, let's get some shine for Anger and for Aubrey and for Turpin. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so Jayden Daniels right now is 14th in passing yards.
I had it right. You guys sold me up the river. I said Jayden Daniels, dumbass.
2,338 passing yards. He's got 10 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. For Ricky, that's decent. And 99 passer rating there. Completion percentage 68%. So, he's doing pretty well. The rushing is actually tapered off in these recent games, but he has that rushing threat. I would say because Dallas Cowboys is the number 1 worst run defense, he actually may have a good game where he could bounce back. So I wouldn't think that just because he's slumping in the running recently that we shouldn't be worried about it. It's definitely something he could bite us with. So let's check out the rushing recently. So in the past 5 games, last week 18 yards, the week before that 5 yards versus Steelers, and 35 versus Giants, 52 versus Bears, 50 versus Panthers. He's kind of calmed it down. He, at the beginning of the season, he had an 88 burger, 82 yarder game, much higher totals than recently. So it's kind of getting more of a pass heavy approach recently. You're on mute though, Joe.
Oh, there we go. I think you're hitting it right on. So I think as he has progressed since week 1 to now, he's been able to get adjusted to the NFL level, a little bit of the speed, and use his arm a little more, whereas we saw him use his legs way early on in the season. He seems like this guy he's not an RG3. He's not an RG knee. I think he's not the type of guy who's really just going to rely on his legs. He's looking to throw the ball. He's looking to stay in the pocket. And we're kind of seeing that play out the last few weeks here.
He's topped out at 2 touchdowns passing in a game. If he throws 3 touchdowns, then we're getting schooled.
And everyone remembers the Hail Mary from a few weeks ago.
That was luck. So is that why you're bringing it up?
But all I'm saying is he's got that type of ability. It's pretty cool.
I mean, if you look at Bo Nix, I mean, this guy's has basically just as good a season. And
don't look at my fantasy player.
What's up, Tales from the Geek?
So I just think,
what's up?
These rookie quarterbacks who are given the keys to the castle can have a great breakout season, but let's just see what happens next year. Look at some of these other second-year quarterbacks that have had a lot of trouble.
You were just talking about Stroud, how he slumped a little bit.
Exactly. I think some of it is unfamiliarity. Some of it is these guys are actually incredibly talented, incredibly gifted, but they don't have the experience. And I think the experience wins you a great career. The talent gets you a good start. and like you kind of have to figure out how to make those two coexist over a long period of time. And I give him all the credit in the world for coming out and actually kicking some ass and making a name for himself early. But everyone starts to get tape on you, especially tape on you in relation to your offensive coordinator. And it just becomes much tougher to win in this league on a consistent basis. And that's why guys like, let's just say Dak, guys like, Kirk Cousins, they keep getting these contracts because they are capable quarterbacks in this league, where CJ Stroud, Jayden Daniels, they have a lot to prove as far as are you really able to make 3 reads a play? Making 3 reads a play is probably the hardest thing. Like hitting a fastball, hitting a curveball is very tough in baseball. Making 3 reads a play in an offense is maybe the next hardest thing in the history, in the entirety of sports.
I know this might not be like a hot, or a good take being here in Austin, Texas, but we saw Vince Young come in his rookie season, kind of tear up the league. He made a Pro Bowl his rookie season, won a lot of games. I think even made the playoffs. But then we saw the league get tape on him, kind of figure it out. Jeff Fisher didn't do him any favors. We know that. Like, he was always against it from the start. I don't want to bring BY down because we love him here, but I'm saying, like, that's the kind of thing. It's like he balled out his rookie season, and then the second year, kind of not so much.
No, I hear you. Yeah, and there's what, 6 rookie quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round this year. 5 are starters and playing well. But we see last year we had at least 3 starters come out of that, and year 2 is kind of a mixed bag. I think at least 2 of them have been benched, Bryce Young and Richardson. So we'll see what happens with this guy. But I think for now, this year, he's still rookie of the year.
Yeah, what a great season. I give him all the kudos in the world. And
Because he turned around a bad team.
The next time
he gets the flowers, man.
Yeah, he turned around a bad team. And to be honest, between him, Drake May, and Bo Nix, I feel like they have the least household name wide receivers around them. Maybe Cortland Sutton's the biggest name of. No. It would be Terry McLaurin, obviously, but still, that's not much.
It's tough, man. This is a tough proposition, and I give credit to the coaches also. There's the coaching staffs are putting these guys in positions to win, but I think even they know next year is going to be different.
Nice, Jamie.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you.
Peace.
All right.
But good luck. Good luck to these young guys. It's tough, and you want to see the Cowboys just grab a young guy and just roll with it. And I think the better position, better move.
Word choice, sir.
Yeah, you don't like a little pause? Pause in your vocabulary yet? Pause.
Anyway,
I like to see a young man.
Yeah. So anyway, real quick, we'll just show the score prediction from last week. This is this week.
Oh, that's this week. What was it? It was 30.
34.
It was 34 to 10. It was 34 to 10.
Is that what the score was? Y'all got it already?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So who was closest? So Joe, 30 to 12. That's
very close, Joe.
Dude, that's like 3 weeks in a row that I kind of won this one.
No,
I almost got.
There's been no winners. You have to actually.
Well, hey, wait.
It on the head.
I gotta say, like, you got the Brandon Aubrey
closest to the pen, dude.
Yeah,
Brandon Aubrey
doink
one. Okay, and they could have scored another touchdown. I would have had it. Would have been really close.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay.
This week our predictions. We got them in.
Let's show them.
Here we go. So I've got 13-27 Washington. Washington's hit the 27 number twice in their games this season, and we have not recently even gotten to 13. So this is actually kind of a stretch for us. So I'm going with that.
They scored more than 13 points.
I think they okay.
See Browns. It's been a while.
It's not our team. We don't have the
this
Browns
week, Joe.
team. We don't have Jameis coming off the bench. All right, what do you so justify this 28 score, Dave?
So I think we're finally going to get another special teams or defense touchdown. I think that's going to help our stat line. Again, I think this one will be not really close, but become close late. The Cowboys are a traditional garbage time team, and I just think they're going to buckle up a little bit and really show a respectable showing, but lose. Sorry, guys. 28.
Don't say sorry to us. That's right on par.
Yeah, since Dak went down, we haven't scored more than 10 points.
Gosh.
All right, Joe. 31-23, Washington wins.
31-23. There's some field goals factored in, and I just think we're going to score 2 touchdowns somehow. But we're also going to look at what we're going to do. We're going to get some guys back. Like, Bland is coming back. Like, maybe.
Oh, dude, I would love to see a pick 6.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe we get another touchdown. It's probably going to come from the defense. It has to. Jesus.
Yeah, we would love to stay positive.
We'll come back with some Thanksgiving stuff next week, you guys. Like,
yeah,
I know that we're going on a short week, right? So we're gonna turn around, gonna do the show before the next game, where we might have the next and only win of the season against the Giants. Maybe the Panthers would be the next dub.
Panthers
that
are
would
trying
probably
so
be
hard,
about
dude.
it.
Panthers are don't whatever you think about the Panthers, they're better than whatever you think.
Yes,
they traded 100%. Us. They
100%.
Fleeced us. They just fleeced us. They're better than the Cowboys right now.
Jerry Jones, if you lose against the Panthers and Mingo doesn't even get a single catch,
Mingo revenge game. Watch he get 0.
Oh my god, dude! All right, stay tuned for that Mingo revenge game, fellas.
He's gonna get a rushing attempt. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no one mentioned the Bengals game.
One of those shitty end arounds that CeeDee Lamb's always gets and loses 2 yards. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no one wants to look at the schedule. It's pretty brutal. There's really only one gimme because Giants just cut their quarterback. So, yeah, it's looking rough. So that was really the only thing I had was this future outlook for the team because I do think it makes sense to evaluate what we have, but we know at this point what's best for the team is the draft picks, and we want those to be high. And if we end up in a high enough spot, guys, we're not drafting a quarterback, and there's desperate teams going to be looking for one. So we got to be.
Who would you draft?
No. I'm saying we deal the.
Save it for the podcast.
Now, what
Dave.
quarterback is even worth drafting? Is my point.
It's not. We're not. It doesn't. That's not how. That's literally not how it works. We're not even.
Man, so we've got a lot to debate.
These other teams are desperate. They're going to take a chance, dude.
Dave, you're pushing some buttons here that we're not ready for. Okay.
I don't buy it, Alex. Let's debate this draft class. I can't wait. Draft season is coming.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what we should be excited for. Cowboys Nation. Let's wrap this up. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Next week, Thanksgiving week, before we take on the Giants and whoever they decide to roll out at quarterback, we'll be there. We'll be here, kind of previewing that after we take on the Commanders, that revenge game. We'll see what happens, guys. It's a division game.
I'm excited.
Anything can happen.
I'm excited to turn the corner on the season. I hate that some players might go out there and get injured the rest of the year because it doesn't mean anything. All that matters left is to get a draft pick, go into next year with some fresh bodies. Let's do it.
But also maybe beat the Giants so we're not the bottom of the NFC East.
That's not going to happen, Joe. Don't worry about it.
All right. We'll save that one for the next time. Goodbye, Cowboys Nation. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Oh, man. See ya.
Write it, Joel. Write it.